Well, here we are. It's about 11:48 or so on a Saturday, December 22nd, 2018. A couple days before Christmas. It's a beautiful morning, just scattered little clouds. I got the impression it may have sprinkled last night. And here we are. Here we are. It's cool. It's sunny. It's lovely. It's breakfast with the Epic Beard and Dave. And from both of us, I say good morning. And set my camera. Well, what a week. If you've been paying attention or you haven't, the big thing is apparently the young girl who passed away at the border a few days ago isn't really the hot topic anymore. It's still, I think, gathering some scroll at the bottom of the screen, but maybe they're just waiting until after Christmas to refire the story up with the investigations. You gotta love how the media swings things and words things. I was talking to my son about it, and he was aware of it, and I don't know how many people are aware of it, but or if I mentioned it in the last chat on this, because it's horrific what happened. I mean, let's face it, it's horrific. But there's a lot of things in play that could have stopped or prevented that. For one, not traveling 1,000 some odd miles or whatever up through Mexico to try and sneak into the border. Whether she was sick before she left. Hey, what's up?
How's it going? Sorry, more coffee?
Yes, please.
Bring that right up.
Whether she was sick before she left or she got ill somewhere along the trail. I'm waiting for the autopsy. I want to know if it really was dehydration and possibly starvation, as first claimed by the news. There's a lot of discussion. My son and it's interesting. we hit some common ground. We both agree that the media is handling this like bullshit. Oh, here we go. More coffee. You gotta have coffee when you're doing an Epic Beard and Dave talk. Oh, you think that's funny, huh? On video. But or it wouldn't just be breakfast or coffee with the Epic Beard. Anyways. It's a lot of bullshit. Well, I forgot. Let's back up a little bit because I forgot to do this. I want to say that Christmas is going to be here in a couple days. I hope everyone is enjoying themselves. I hope all goes well throughout the country and through other parts of the world on this holiday. That we enjoy peace and happiness. We spend time with friends and family. That we were good enough that Santa Claus might stop by. And, which, I'm not commenting on that. Anyways, we got a lot going on, and I think it's great. I think it's a great holiday. I'm enjoying some of it. I'm gonna cook again. This time I'm going to do, I guess you might even consider it slightly cannibalistic. But I'm gonna cook a ham, big old canned ham. And do the brown sugar and pineapple and Mendocino cherries or whatever they are, the Mandalorian cherries. So, we shall see, and hopefully overcome. Anyways, back to the main story. This poor young girl, it's just tragic. It's just so tragic. You know, and how it's being spun that is all caused by, pretty much by Trump and Homeland and by the Border Patrol and ICE and all that for doing their job and for upholding the law of someone who illegally entered countries, not just ours, but countries, and traveled all this way, and as a result of this poorly planned journey was the end result. You know, one thing my son and I talked about, and I don't know how many of you people are ever aware of this, or if I mentioned it in my last chat, but when Allied troops entered the camps of the Holocaust, they were greeted by another horror and a horrific scene, and just something that, quite honestly, I can't even comprehend. The depravity that was inflicted upon these human beings. The pictures alone speak for themselves, but to have been there and to have smelled that and experienced that firsthand and talked to people and just it just makes me sick just from the photos and some of the film I've seen. But anyways, as good people as they are, and what's up, Chief?
What's going on, boss?
Not much, just doing a video and
Watching a video?
no, making a video.
You're making a video.
Yeah.
¿No está la mía? ¿Eh? Hoy pensé que había sido las tortas a Acapulco y
¿Y traía?
no me dijeron nada. Pues sí fuiste. No. So what's going on?
It's a little discussion on that poor little Guatemalan girl. You know, and a little bit about how the media is actually handling it.
Well, it's always true that, you know, I talk to a lot of people like you know, you got a different, we all have our own way to look at it.
Yep.
I always like a
Quick question. It says here, well done. Do you mean the gelatinas or
No,
the eggs?
the eggs, they don't turn around, just leave it there to the bottom part is well done cooked.
Okay.
So only the bottom part.
That's why I asked for a medium. I don't want them runny.
You see, like, I for example, the good example is the CNN and the Fox.
Yeah.
The balls. The balls is like the one way side, the other. They look at it completely opposite. And
Yes.
I think, and you know what? And let's be clear. And I understand exactly what they do. They make billions of dollars by doing this.
Yeah.
I don't think they care so much about what you think and what I think. They look at the marketing stuff because in the elections and all these kind of political issues, and when they come to advertising, who they gonna go to?
Well, that's an interesting thought, and it's probably part of it. If you need to learn about yellow journalism and Randolph Hearst and a man named Pulitzer, the man who actually created yellow journalism that sensationalizes the news. But I'm going to say yeah on Fox some, but CNN is just,
You know,
it's just a cartoon network.
But yeah, look at. I think that's what I said. I'm stuck in the middle because what I believe and what I come from and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of like I look at CNN. I remember like I always says, I'm a Christian, a Catholic, whatever you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe in God, and we believe that we should be equal, we should be treated equal, we should be. You should be respect the law the way they should be. You should be contribute to the country that you live in, but it's like any
But
other.
you're not going to find Christianity at CNN.
Well, no, let me go to that. And I just want to put my point who I am. You know, what do I think? I try to look at CNN, and I get so disgusted and so this because they're so liberal that doesn't go with what I think.
Oh yeah.
And everybody is there. Most of them they're gays, they're lesbian, or they're one thing or the other, which is not now to me to judgment. But because they are who they are, that's what they try to people believe that everybody believe to. Now, I look at it. Facts, and they're very conservative. They're pro-abortion. They're good. They're a good, to pro-life and all this shit. But at the same time, criticize people for whatever they come from, wherever they are, and they talking too much shit about. They make it look the opposite of the other guys. Way too opposite. Way too opposite. So it's like
that's their point.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. And when I come to this, I go, personally me, I just go, screw you both. It's like in the same way with parties. To me, the Democrats are way too liberal, but I also understand my personal opinion, like the Republicans, they are two-faced, double moral kind of thing. You know what I mean? Because you cannot pretty sure try to.
Yeah, I can tell you I'm a Democrat, registered Democrat, but I can tell you flat out, the Democratic Party that exists today didn't exist when I was a kid. They have no similarities at all.
Well, the other side is the same way. The principles of Mr. Lincoln, the principles of they're not there no more.
A lot of my experience and knowledge on that would disagree with you because the Republicans have seemed to have a certain consistency, and yet I believe they've been propagandized so hard by the opposite side of being, so hateful and everything. There's nothing wrong with, not doing a lot, there's not a lot. There's nothing to say when a side of the government or a political party doesn't say or do a lot about this because they feel that, let the Constitution do it and people have the right to be free and do what they want.
Look at, for example, but this what I'm talking about now. No matter who you are, where do you live, we all come from somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We all do.
Vamos, señor.
Hasta luego, señor, que esté bien.
Igualmente.
Feliz Navidad, si no lo miro, señor.
Gracias, igualmente.
Simply put, we all come from the womb.
Look at, like, you black people, you black guy, you come from Africa, they bring this and that. You're a white guy, the first one they come from the people that was in jail over in the different parts of Europe, and so shit like that. So that thing about the immigration shit, before we open our mouth, we should be careful to have a conscience where we come from. Now, it is about people from every single race. It is one way or the other. For example, I'm not get offended when they say, a lot of the Mexicans, they're drug dealers. Well, I never get mad because I know it's true. For whatever reason they
You
have,
heard it here.
whatever reason they have, is true.
Yeah.
When they said all the Mexicans, they this and that is when I have a problem.
No.
It's like I say, all the black people is this or is that. It's a good things and a bad things in every single.
I've probably worked with more Mexicans than blacks, but there were the good ones, and then there's the ones that I just don't like. Not because they're black, because they're assholes. They're jerks, and the same with I can give you a list of some really nice guys I know that are Mexican from Mexico or whatnot, and then
Merry Christmas,
Merry Christmas to you, sir.
and then on the other side give you an even longer list of them of a bunch that are just jerks.
Well, like me, I try to understand it, right? I kind of agree with you with the part, but I have to understand it, why they like that. That whatever the reason they have, that's an agreed the way that they act in lot of them. But if you see,
There's a lot of white people that are jerks.
I got a lot of customers. They're all single race, Orientals, and I can see, in every single race is a fucking black shit.
Yeah.
It is, and but for example, me, look at me. You go to every single restaurant, Mexican restaurant. Even before you walk in, you're really going to see the drunk little Mexican and the sign with a bottle of tequila for one side. And thing like, well, we was that? Maybe. We was like that then back then.
Excuse
but now,
me, I'm Irish.
Well, but what I mean is that, we all change. We all have to get better. Wherever you come from, wherever you are, I think that one of the reasons why we come to this country, every single one, is because the land of opportunity. We want to be better, right?
Yeah.
You want to make yourself something better who you are.
Well, see, that's
Some
why.
of them, most of them, they stay in the process. They never cross the line. Now, cross the line, it'll be better.
That's why I want. For me, the whole legality of your entering the country is important to me, because the people that really want to be Americans, that really want to that opportunity and a better life and improving their life, are more willing to not only become a citizen but to Americanize and be absorbed by the culture and become a part of the American culture. Where there's another part that just wants to come in here and live off the fat of the land, that wants to live off the government.
Well, some of them, they don't even think about that. They just learn. They look at like me. I get very pissed off. Like I told you this already, kind of times probably. I go to the market and I get very pissed off because the people in front of me, and I can tell a lot of different races, they got at $300 for the shed or more because the car is full. Half of that shit they're not going to be eating it, but they have to buy it because if not, the food stamps will expire. And then you walk by, you follow them, and they're fucking driving a Mercedes Benz. You fucking figure it out. Well, I'm fucking, work my ass all day long, 17 hours a day, pay taxes, my taxes, and work with taxes to everybody,
You should stake out some people that are panhandling and wait till they're done and they start to leave, in the evening. I've seen videos of people that have done this, and they track them down the block and across the street and whatever to a McDonald's parking lot where they have a brand new Lexus or whatever sitting there, and they were just panhandling for change over here in the mall
That's a
and
different
whatever.
story right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the people that they ask for money in the border,
Yeah.
they look like Indians. Well, the Indians, they come from South America, south of Mexico. Well, a lot of people, they say, oh, these guys, these poor people, and they try to, like a lot of people from this side, they will go and bring coal, chlorine, and everything.
Yeah.
And when they cross, they give it to them. You know what they do with it?
What?
They grab it and they fucking throw it next to the corner. Nobody can see it. You know why? They're not interested in that. Because a lot of that people, they have fucking very nice houses down south of Mexico.
It's funny because there are those homeless. It's obvious. These people are just at the bottom of life. And I won't give them money. Sometimes they ask me. A lot of times they won't. They're just like trying to survive that day. And I'll see them, and I've done this at restaurants when I went into. I'll go in, like I go to this one restaurant, and when I come out, the guy's still sitting there, so I'll go over next door to Carl's, and I'll get a burger and a drink and some fries and whatever, and I'll come over and I'll give it to him and say, look, dude, I know it's rough for you. You need to go over here and eat it or whatever and not hang out here because they're going to call the cops or whatever, and I don't want to see that happen to you, but here, here's something to eat. Here's some water and maybe a soda and whatever, and here's lunch or dinner. And I've done that many, many times. And I did it to one woman, and she threw the burritos back at me. And she went off, and she exploded, and I said, okay, now we know about you. you're either that crazy or you're just doing this for the income. And you're making hundreds of dollars a day, tax free off of change and whatnot. And you probably got a really nice car and a really nice apartment and a really nice lifestyle somewhere else. So, anyways, now I'm just more concerned about that young girl because the media is trashing the government. They're blaming it on Trump. They're blaming her death on Homeland, on the border patrol, and everything else. And what other news channels and other news sources that I'm accessing seem to indicate that as soon as they turned themselves in and they arrested them, they did everything they could for her. They gave her water. They tried to give her some food. They needed to get her someplace so she could be medically, looked at.
Like in these kind of cases, let me go back to. We only know what. Bottom line is, we only know what we hear from the newspapers, right?
Yeah.
And then from the reporters. We only know what we read, what we see.
That's why I go to multiple sources. Because there are news sources out there that'll give you facts.
Yeah, I hear the Spanish, and some of the Spanish networks. They how do you call it? How do you say it in the biblical way? They tear apart the clothing because what they see, what they hear. Bottom line is, this is not some one individual problem, or one individual part of the government, or one individual part of the humanity. we all part of this fucking problem. When we say we, not necessarily directly, but when somebody has too much money and somebody has nothing, it's a big problem. It's a big problem when the conscience of, you asshole, you have billions and billions of dollars. That's okay. For me, that's okay. But what the fuck you gonna do with all that money?
Well, that's where you learn about the person. If you learn about the person, you'll find out a lot of guys that have a lot of money are doing a lot, are giving it a lot back to
and they don't
humanity.
have to give it back to them.
I know they don't.
They don't have to give it back to them, and I don't want them. I respect them to give it back. But what I would like it to they do, at least the employees that you have, pay them better.
Yeah.
Maybe the other one they can follow and do the same thing. That's what
some of them do that, but what I'm saying is, they're not just giving it to people; they're putting it into charity to help with the program, and also that also helps them educate or do something to get these people off of welfare and whatnot.
This is what I'm saying when we all have a problem. Look at these guys; they try to make themselves feel better, whatever reason they have to give money away, so they give it to these charities, right? And these charities supposedly they do wonderful things.
Yeah, but only 10, 15 cents on the dollar goes to actually helping somebody.
The fucking, the company right there, the ones before right there, like about a year ago, the FBI come and throw the shit the fucking out of them.
Yeah.
You know why? Because the girl that was running the fucking place, his son making $250,000 a year watching the vehicles of the company. $250,000.
Yeah.
A year to wash a couple cars. And you know what they do? They hire some company to come and do it for them for fucking $10 a car. Or the probably they even do it for free because right off.
Yeah. Well, he was an employee of the company.
You see what I'm saying? We all fucking part of this problem.
Yeah.
Or this world.
It's just like the whole immigration thing on the southern border is now not just an American problem. It's starting to become a Mexican problem,
It is a Mexican problem.
and a big problem all over down there because a lot of those guys came in and they destroyed the wall at the southern.
Venezuela. Look at all this. I just can't believe it. All this
Venezuela did that to themselves.
Yeah, but once again, some asshole is over here, and the other ones, they cannot help themselves for whatever reason. We're supposed to help them. We're supposed to protect them.
Well, have a good day. That was Juan, the owner of Pepitos. This is going to be a good video, I think, a really good video, and I'm going to let that one go because I love having. That's the point of this, okay? That is the point of this, is to have a discussion. Now, anybody that wants to chime on, tag in, leave a comment, I'll do my best to respond to it. whether you support me or not. I don't, it's not about that. It's about free speech. It's about your opinion. What can we do to help this? Like Sean and I were arguing about the little girl, and he's pushing there need to be something better. There needed to be something better. I think the Border Patrol did everything they could in their power, their procedure. They did a procedure, went by the numbers, which meant that they would move her to a facility, they would check her out, and then when she had the attack on the bus or the whatever, they immediately airlifted her to a hospital where they did everything they could to save her. If you want to talk about that's what you think is Donald Trump's fault and Border Patrol's fault, my God, and they shouldn't have arrested her, then she would have died somewhere in the desert or on the side of a road, with nobody being able to do anything for her. Anything. And no, I mean, first of all, don't come here illegally. Don't do that. But if you're going to do it and something goes wrong, our people are going to do what they can. They're going to bend over backwards. I'm a big believer that maybe we ought to bring back like the Ellis Island, take some of the closed bases and other facilities or whatever along the southern border, and especially large military installations, and open them up to immigration camps or facilities like Ellis Island. And of course, Americans should watchdog it, and we should all do it to make sure that these people are being treated fair, they're getting good medical and dental and whatever care, that they're getting the health checks, we're quarantining and examining, and we're running background checks, and we're and doing everything we can to make sure that those that really, really, really want to be an American come in, and not the criminals and not the NS-13 or whatever, and all of those. We just need to do something. One of the things that Sean was talking about, the medical response and all that, and the training for the border guys. My God, more and more training for these guys. That means more and more money, and they want more and more people, and maybe some specialists out there. More and more money. Maybe what we ought to do is, what I suggest is maybe we ought to put the military on there. Let them run exercises 24/7, 365 days a year with various units. The military is more equipped for that. They have the embedded within them and right behind them, following them right along, is full-on hospital-like medical support. And this would be great for them. This would be pretty good training for them. Sure, I'm sure most of the time they'd be fixing sprained ankles and strains and cuts and whatnot. But every now and then, when they encounter a group like that, they send them right to them, right there. We put you in the back of the truck and we drive you over here, down the road, half a mile to the MASH unit, and we run you through all of this, and we begin the process so we can take you to the, and I'm going to use the word internment facility, where you're held until you're cleared, or you're given a case date, and an immigration judge can see you. But in the case of something like this little girl, something could be immediately done. I was going to allude to the fact that I would like to have gotten it with him that, during the Second World War, we were talking about that, when our guys found these camps, they were Americans, so they were good people. Pretty much, overall, good people. They're officers and they're men, just decent people. They didn't want to be in Europe fighting a war. They wanted to be at home screwing around and chasing girls and working on their hot rods and maybe working on a degree or whatnot, getting a good job, starting to live a life. But when they encountered these ghosts, these dying skeletons, God, their heart opened up, and that when that happened, their backpack opened up, and their rations came out, and they started to give them food and water and whatnot. And to be honest with you, and I'm going to say this the way the media would spin it if they want you to believe the worst about us. is they killed them. They killed a bunch of them because those people couldn't eat cheese and spam or pork loaf, tin of beef, bully beef or whatever. They couldn't. Their bodies couldn't process that. They were so racked with disease and with starvation and dehydration. The water alone probably had something to do with it. Even after the medical corps came in and said, whoa, we need to put these guys on liquid diet. They need to be on light water and some chicken soup, Jewish penicillin. And it's not a joke. And broth, be on a clear diet for a little while and start introducing a little fruit and whatever, and until their metabolism in their body is healthy enough and strong enough to handle something more substantial. But instead, the guys didn't know. They're not doctors. They're Joe from Kokomo, who's now the 30 cal operator. That's all he knows. And or the guy that was worked in a pharmacy as a soda jerk. He's not a doctor. He's not a nutritionalist. He probably has a high school diploma and wants to get out of the soda jerk business into something rewarding, maybe construction or something like that. He wants to pound a nail. Still not a doctor. These people never experienced anything like that. And what they did was technically wrong, but I'm not going to condemn them, and I'm not going to hold that against them. I'm not going to blame the United States for being there, because it was in their heart to do that, to help him. The guy was hungry. He fed him. I mean, I'm sure that even after the doctors came in and stabilized diets and started to try and do what they could medically, they lost a great number due to the fact that they'd already reached that point of no return. And every day after was just a miracle. But they were doomed. They were on the downward slide. They were going to die. And they did. This young girl is a tragedy. What's even bigger tragedy is what the media has spun. One part of the media has spun and is trying to tell you as. That it's a lot like I just did there with the Jewish survivors of the Holocaust. And that was. Imagine what happened to some of those guys in some of those units that were standing there and saw that, and they were told later that, they asked about it, and they were told later, and he goes, all that cheese and whatever, his body couldn't handle it. He died like the next day, or died that night. And imagine what they thought, what they went through. Or tried to. I'm sure a lot of those guys there's a lot of regret, but I'm not going to blame them for them trying to do something good and positive and helpful and what they felt was right at the moment. They didn't know. Ignorance may be bliss, and in this case, it's hard to use that phrase, but those poor guys. Anyways, we're done. We're out of here. I want to thank you all, and again, put in your opinions, put in your views, tag me, whatever. You can also go to my YouTube channel, The Epic Beard and Dave, and watch this video or show these videos to your friends if they're not on Facebook or whatnot. You can get their opinions. And again, there you can comment and whatnot, and even subscribe if you wish. I just want to thank you all. I want you all to have a Merry, Merry Christmas. I want you all to have a good life and a good day. I don't know. I've saddened myself. Anyways, good night, or good afternoon, good morning, whatnot. See you there. See you soon. And now I'm going to push the finish button. Finish.